Hey, welcome to Clarksville Community Connection. I'm your host, Dan Kinjorski from Pathfinder Media Group. Clarksville Community Connection exists to introduce life stories to the community of Clarksville and the rest of the world. And this morning, I invited Derek Gray. Is that right? Is it Grey or
AY?
AY, Gray. Okay, I invited Derek Gray to share his story with us. And Derek is a retired Army soldier from Fort Campbell. Is that correct?
Yep.
Fort Campbell, Kentucky, next to Clarksville, Tennessee. There is a disclaimer that I am a counselor, but Derek is not a client. So I met you, Derek, at a neighborhood block party.
Yep.
I think that's correct. And I got to hear some of your story, and I said, that's fascinating for you to share your story. I met your wife, your two boys,
Yep.
and it was just great to meet you. And tell us a little bit, your wife, and where are you from?
Originally, I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. All right. And where's your wife from?
She's from Nashville originally.
Oh, how did you two meet?
Over the internet on
Oh.
MySpace when that was a thing. So I was deployed and I was in Iraq and I had free time. So I went to the little area we had like 4 computers set up to check emails and stuff like that.
Right.
And I was checking email and I checked my MySpace and she had messaged me and she said she thought I was cute and we just started talking from there. So,
yeah, that's great. 30 seconds. What year were you deployed to Iraq that time?
That time, that was probably 2005, 2006.
All right. I was there in 2003 and, I got this coffee mug that says sound the war horns. That was a signal unit. We were there in 2003 building up the signal assets so soldiers can call home or get on the computer and so forth. When you mentioned MySpace, I thought of Josh, and we do a tech talk, and MySpace is pretty old, right, Josh?
Yeah.
So he's probably thinking you and I are ancient.
Oh, yeah.
So you met your wife online through MySpace back in 05-ish and so forth, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's how you met. Thank you for sharing that. And when did you go into the Army?
Right out of high school in 99.
In 99?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like one of the last be all you can be generation
Yes.
before they changed to the whole Army Strong and they changed the BDUs to the ACUs. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
I appreciate Be All You Can Be generation. I'm from that generation.
They brought it back too. They brought the Be All You Can Be back. So
yeah,
hopefully it'll get better.
Yeah, that's right. So you joined in 99. What was it that you wanted to do? What did you join for? Were you infantry? Were you?
I joined, I was in aviation. So when I was a kid, like I liked Top Gun, all those types of movies. My favorite was Iron Eagle. And I wanted to join the Air Force and be a fighter pilot. And then found out all the requirements to get to the Air Force Academy. Got the congressional letter recommendation, but my grades weren't where it needed to be. So I got we regret to inform you letter. And the day after I got that letter, I was bummed. It was on a weekend. And Sergeant James of the U.S. Army called, and he was my recruiter. He's like, hey, you want to come in and talk about your options? I was like, sure. We went in, me and my mom went in and asked me what I want to do. And I said, I want to fly. And of course, the recruiters didn't tell me about like high school to flight school. They just want, well, you gotta enlist, and you gotta be at least a PFC in for 2 years, and like no warrant officer, and then you can put in for your warrant officer packet and go to flight school like that. And I was like, okay, cool.
They were meeting quota, man.
Yeah, I know. When I got to basic, there was a kid right when we graduated. He put on E5 rank, and everyone was like, "What are you doing, dude? You can't just do that." He's like, "No, I'm going to warrant officer candidate school, and I get my E5 right after graduation." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And he told me about high school to flight school. I got mad. So when after basic and I went to hometown recruiting, conveniently my recruiter was on leave, so I couldn't.
You couldn't address it.
Yeah.
Did you play football?
I think I played one game. I was a basketball player.
Oh, basketball player.
Yeah.
You just wanted to go, use his head as a basketball, didn't you? I'm joking. I'm joking. Yeah, that's great, man. It's great. Thank you for sharing your story about that. So you got involved in aviation. Was Fort Campbell your first duty station?
Nope. When in AIT, after we
Mhm.
graduated and they give you like a first duty assignment,
Mm-hmm.
my whole class, like 98% of my graduating class, went to Germany.
Mm.
And when they were handing out the orders, they're like, "Hey, most of you going to Germany. There's two of you guys that are lucky. You're going to Hawaii." And I was like, "What?" And I was one of the guys.
Mm-hmm.
But the orders had, "You're going to Fort Hood
Mm-hmm.
to stand up a new unit that's going to
Hawaii.
Those were like long gone. And I went to a unit that just came back from Kosovo. And I was like, "Oh yeah, when are we going to Hawaii?" And they're like, "We just got back from Kosovo. We're not going to Hawaii." So my first duty station on Fort Hood.
On an aviation unit, right?
Yeah, second of the 227 aviation. So we were on, like, you got Fort Hood, which is huge,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have little West Fort Hood.
Yes.
We were on West Fort Hood.
I was there in 99.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I was there in 99 to 02.
Okay.
I was over in First Cav.
Okay. Yeah.
So we were there at the same time. Yeah. So that's interesting. Do you remember your chaplain's name? You may not remember.
I don't.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I only remember one chaplain, but I don't remember his name. I just remember him because he got in trouble in Afghanistan.
Oh.
We weren't doing any combat operations.
Right.
We were just doing a range for the DAPs, the Black Hawks with all the missiles and everything they shoot. They're just doing a target range, and when they come back, you reload the rockets. And he helped reload the rockets. And somebody saw him help reload the rockets for just a training range, and he got in trouble for that. And not saying that this is what really happened, but I saw who saw him, and it was the head chaplain, who he was a Muslim chaplain, and the other one wasn't, and he didn't like that, so he got the boot.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. We're not supposed to be near arms. When I was a chaplain and things like that, and if that in fact did happen the way it did behind the scenes that you're not aware of, it was probably a personality issue more than anything, instead of a, "Hey, come here, we don't do this sort of thing." Yeah. That's unfortunate when things like that happen. So Fort Hood was your first duty station.
Yep.
Did you get deployed at Fort Hood at all?
Nope. I had put in my packet to go to the 160th while I was there. Pretty much like right before 9/11 happened. Me and a couple of friends, we put on our 160th packets to go. 9/11 happens, and we were like, "Whoa."
The top tempo picked up.
Yeah.
I was there. I was there when 9/11 happened, and all of a sudden our units were just, flush with gate guard duties. Lines began to pile up at the gates.
What was crazy is, like, to think of Fort Hood pre 9/11, no gates. Well, there were gates, but like you just drive.
Yeah.
And like when I first got there, the guy that brought me to replacement, he just drove on. He's like, "Yeah, we're on Fort Hood now." I'm like, "Well, I thought there was like a gate." And it's like, "No." And then they had to try to close down Fort Hood, which was ridiculous.
Yes.
So many access points.
Yeah. It is. It was an open, I guess, considered an open post during that time period, pre 9/11, and then after 9/11, it and even still is not as open, or not open post. Aviation.
And my dad, because he was an MP in the Army. He was in Vietnam, but he was in Germany, and his brother got drafted to go to Vietnam. So he said, "Hey, I'll go. Leave my brother, have my brother come to Germany, take my place, whatever." They said no. His brother also said no, "I'll do it." So he went. So my dad stayed in Germany during Vietnam, came back, and met my mom in the late 70s. Then I was born in the 80s, or in 1980. and we weren't doing so well,
Mhm.
like financially. So
Mhm.
he had went back in to get a different, like more job training or whatever. Because I don't know what his job was the first time he went in, but he didn't have like a choice. And the second time he went in, he chose MP and went to train. And when he got back, I think he was reserves at the time. So when he came back, he got a job with the Milwaukee Sheriff's Department.
Ah, okay.
So he was able to move our family out of the bad area that we were in.
Okay, yep, and get out of the city or the urban area.
Yeah, yeah. I can't thank my dad enough for doing that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I think I've driven through that area to go to Washington State from Michigan, but I'd never been in that area for a long period of time. So, um, anyway, you went from Fort Hood to Campbell?
Yep. So I told my unit that because there was the whole thing, my buddy, he got picked up, or he got orders right away to go to 160th and do the Green Platoon and all that stuff. So he left like a year before I did. I told my unit, since the orders didn't come yet for me, I was like, you know what? I'll stay. I'll help train up the guys, because I was an FI at the time, which is a flight instructor.
Right.
And I'll help train up the younger crew chiefs, and then I'll leave for 160th. And
What rank were you at the time?
I was only a specialist then.
Oh, wow.
Wow. And
that talks about how serious you were, because most specialists, they're just, you're serious enough to be a flight instructor, and you're telling the command, hey, I'll stay and help train up, and then I'll come. I mean, I don't hear, when I was enlisted back in the 80s, you didn't hear a whole lot of that kind of volunteerism.
yeah,
Of course, I was in a nerdy unit. Well, no, I wasn't a nerdy. I was in a combat engineer unit, but I was part of a nerdy crew in the signal platoon. I was a rat rig operator.
Okay.
Radio teletype.
Some of my reasoning for that was a little bit selfish, I guess. Because in the FI slot, training up the guys to be crew chiefs, I knew I would be able to get my flight hours up. And the more flight hours I have, the better I'd look at the 160th when I go to try to get a flight slot there.
Right.
So
I don't know if that was selfish. It was just planned well.
yeah,
Yeah, it was planned well. You had a goal in mind.
yeah.
You wanted to reach that goal. So you eventually you make your way over to 160th, right? You get through Green Platoon, and you become part, and that's where most of your deployments are from.
All of them. Yeah.
And I think you said you went to 7 or 8. You deployed 7 or 8 times.
Yeah.
How was that for you as a young, I'm guessing E5 at the time?
Yeah, I had a blast. Like every deployment was fun. There was a couple hairy situations where it's like, but other than that, besides the death that happened and all that stuff, I had a good time. No PTSD from anything. So, but that's the thing with PTSD is like you'll get a flight crew, which is 2 pilots, 2 crew chiefs. They do a mission. 2 of the guys have issues, with that, and 2 of them are completely fine. It's just up to the person. So
Right. I think it goes back to, what kind of personal resources or resources within you do you have? Sometimes it's about that. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's about the things you see and you experience.
yeah,
So some come out of it able to be resilient. They're resilient enough to make it through and survive any PTSD symptoms. And some have PTSD and do not realize it either. They don't know why they're not sleeping well, or things like that, or experiencing other symptoms, and they don't put it together with their experiences in the military. So, yeah. But anyway, so you went, and then tell us about how you lost your arm. Tell us that story, because that was the fascinating part of your story.
well, like I said, I've gotten to a couple hairy situations in Iraq and all this stuff, always in Afghanistan. Come back, I'm fine, right? And after the 8th my last deployment, obviously, my squad, we were all like into motocross, and we all had dirt bikes. And after that last deployment, I came back. We had an aircraft that went down, and they called us in on the weekend to fix it. So we go in, and we thought we were going to be there Saturday and Sunday, but Sunday morning we got done, finished, and we were good to go. So I asked my squad, like, hey, you guys want to make the most of the weekend and go on our bikes to LBL?
Land between the lakes.
Yeah. And they're like, yeah, let's do it. So we finished up, cleaned up, went back, got our bikes, went out there.
A group of 6, 8, 9, something like that.
4.
Okay.
It was me, my friend Adam, his friend, and my friend Huey, I think they called him. And then my other friend Rob. And we went out there, and we did like four or 5 loops of the trails that day. And at the end, the last what we thought was going to be the last loop, we got back, we were resting, and we all got in our gear, and we took a group photo, and that's the last thing I remember. They said that it was my idea because we were all in our gear and on our bikes. I was like, why don't we just go for one more loop and then head back? So we did. And every time we did a loop of the trails and then headed back to the little parking area there, we'd get off the trails, and there's like a gravel access road back to the parking area. And every time we hit that gravel access road, I'd open up because I had the biggest bike out of our group. So I'd go like 60 down the gravel road. And that last time I hit it, and I must have lost control. The skid mark was only like 6 to 8 feet long, and there was a tree. I hit the tree. So went over the handlebars, snapped my left leg, the femur, spear tackled the tree, because like when you stop, the handlebars can break your legs. And that's what broke my leg, and I think that's what knocked me out. And I ended up spear tackling the tree, hitting my collarbone, so that broke, and my shoulder blade broke. So that's what holds your arm onto your body bone-wise.
Right.
So it was just muscle and tissue holding it on. And because I did that, like spear tackled the tree, in a sense, my arm wrapped around the tree, and it went so far that it ended up pulling the brachial plexus nerve branch, and it ripped it to like really close to the spinal cord.
Right.
So my arm was dead from there. Also broke the radius and ulna in that arm, and they were sticking out the skin, compound fracture. I did a lot of damage, lacerated, punctured a lung, lacerated liver and spleen, bunch of stuff.
And you obviously you survived it. You're here.
Well, the guys that was with me, they saved my life. They held my head and C-spine because I had C1, C2 fracture. So they held my head and C-spine, and they assessed me and everything, and got me good until the paramedics arrived. The paramedics get there. They had to drive me out of the woods.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, and then I was life flighted to Vanderbilt. And what's funny is that weekend, I usually spent every weekend with my now wife. We were dating then, and that weekend I told her, "Hey, I got to work. Just get overtime." So she worked at Vanderbilt. She's like, "Okay, I'll get overtime." And so she didn't know that we got done early, and I went riding. So they flew me to Vanderbilt, and she actually passed me in the hallway as they were taking me into the ICU area. And then she gets back to the office area, and she hears the phone is ringing off the hook. So she never really answered the phone, she says, but she did that time. And it was my buddy Adam who was with me, and he asked if I had arrived yet. And she was like, "Wait, what?" She just hung up. She ran. She saw me. They didn't know who I was because they didn't have any ID or anything. So she looked. She identified me and my tattoo. So she's like, "Oh, yep, that's him."
What year was this?
2008.
2008. So
Yeah.
that was, I'm doing some quick calculation. That was 17 years ago. Wow.
Yeah.
17 years ago. And since then, you two have been married, and you have your 2 boys.
Yep.
That's right. And how did that go for you? I mean, That I know that seems like a crazy question to ask, but how did you survive mentally through this process?
I think I got it mostly from my mom. My mom, she went through a lot of stuff growing up, and then she had broke her back, and then she ended up developing COPD, so she wasn't mobile at all.
Mm-hmm.
And she had a good outlook on life through all of it. And I think I just inherited that from her.
Mm-hmm.
It might have bothered, like losing the arm might have bothered me initially,
Mm-hmm.
but I started looking at it as like a challenge. So,
What do you mean by that?
like I was a mechanic as well as a crew. So I was a mechanic for the Black Hawk, and I like to work on my car, and I'd like to build guns. So it was a challenge for me to keep doing that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. And now you still build, obviously, you still build guns, you
Yep.
still work mechanically on cars and so forth?
I need help sometimes, like with the gun building. There's tools and vices that I can use to hold stuff, but when it comes to like cars, I can't do much unless I have help. So now that my boys are,
I was just thinking about your
Yeah.
boys.
I've already had them do their first oil change, and I've
Yeah.
had them change tire. I had them do a tire rotation.
Yes.
Just to make sure they could know how to use a jack, where to put the jack,
Yeah.
guy stuff. So
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, that is awesome alone because a lot of guys, they don't train their boys to do that kind of work, and so you're training them. One, I think you're showing them, just like your mother showed you, her resiliency. I think you're showing them some aspect of resiliency too, you know. Your son, when he got hit, or I think on the, was it a practice or a game when he injured himself?
it was a practice.
A practice. So, how did he interact with that?
Oh, it was funny. He because his arm was all in that, it wasn't like a permanent cast. It was a temporary cast, and he couldn't do anything with that arm. He was like, "Oh, now I understand what you go through because I can't do certain things. I need help." I'm like, see,
Yeah, so that's great, man. If you were to talk to veterans today, perhaps veterans who are suffering from PTSD, from depression, from anxiety, from things like that, and I'm not saying you haven't had any of that. I'm not saying that, but we're not here for that. But if you were to share a nugget of wisdom, what would you say to them as someone who has been there, so to speak, right? You've been deployed, you've come home, you've made it out. And I would venture to say you liked doing things that created adrenaline rush,
yeah,
right? And that was from, I would guess, being part of missing that action in Iraq. Because when you were part of your deployments, you had that adrenaline going. So when you come home, most soldiers come home and they get involved in that. I know a soldier who all he does every day is what is that when you parachute out, but you're tandem jumping.
Okay.
He goes out but he said, Dan, it's the adrenaline. I need that adrenaline. So I would venture to say that that was a big part of your desire for speed at that time. Possibly. I'm not saying it was. I'm just saying it's possible.
I thought I was the safest one in our group because all I did was maybe go fast. I wouldn't do any of the jumps or the tricks. I did a couple of tabletop jumps, but nothing extreme.
Right.
So,
but
the speed caught up with me, and
well, you're here now, man. And what was really impressed me is when we met at the neighborhood block party, and you were just sharing your story, and you weren't down on yourself or anything like that. But what would you share with a fellow veteran who is perhaps suffering in his or her mind, maybe suffering otherwise? What would you share with them?
that's hard to say. Because like after the accident and everything, um, I still had my arm. I hadn't had it amputated yet. I waited a year to see if anything would grow back because they tried to reattach the nerves to try to get my arm function back. it didn't work. But that year before I had them cut it off, they had me go through occupational therapy and physical therapy for the arm, and I also had to initially, because I also had a TBI and all that stuff, and I had to learn how to like talk right again and walk right. My wife, she was my therapy Nazi, I called her. Yeah, without her pushing, because like the therapist was like, "Oh, let's walk up a flight of stairs." She's like, "No, we'll do 4. We'll walk up 4." So she pushed me. I wouldn't be in the condition I am right now if she wouldn't push me.
No.
But being in the therapies, I was there with other guys that had generally the same injuries that I had.
Right.
And theirs was from an IED blast or RPG or something. And here I am. Oh, I was having fun on my dirt bike, you know? So it kind of made me feel like a piece of crap because I got hurt having fun, not doing my job. So I don't know.
Has that changed? You don't feel like that anymore, do you?
I do.
What? I mean, okay, we're not in therapy, so we're not going to go there.
Well, I mean, I don't, because I did my job, I did what I was supposed to do, but even though I got out and retired and everything, and like everyone automatically assumes that it was, combat related.
Yeah, I know. I did initially when I first met you. I thought it was. Yeah.
And knowing the guys, it seemed like they looked at me different. I don't know. Maybe that was just internal me processing it wrong, but yeah, I just didn't feel like I should be. Like I felt like I was here. I was here when they were up here because they got hurt doing their job.
Right. Well, I just want to encourage you that no matter, from my perspective, you were injured. You were working for the military at the time. You were in the military. That's my point. And you were injured, whether you were in combat or not. It happens.
Yeah.
And I personally want to say thank you for your service, and even for your service today and what you do today for law enforcement and helping out law enforcement and so forth like that. I do want to, the thought was I wanted again, is there any nugget before we break off here? Any nugget that you can just say? If not, I got something I want to share.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Yeah.
I think that goes along with what I want to share. I want to share something that, man, you have learned from your mother how to be resilient, how not to give up, and it was built ingrained in here as you watched her suffer. What did your mother do? How did she break her back?
She was a florist at the time. It was when I was like maybe 5. It was actually during no, it wasn't 5. I was 11. Was that 11? Because Desert Storm was in.
Oh, that was
91?
No. Yeah, about 90, 91, somewhere in that neighborhood.
So my dad was getting ready to deploy to Desert Shield, Desert Storm, and she was running a flower shop, and they have these big, like the tall flowers. I don't know what they're called, but they have big buckets that are filled with water to keep them fresh. And she was moving a bucket of water, and she picked it up wrong.
Yeah, just broke her back. Yeah.
So she went into the hospital, and then there was nobody there to care for me. So my dad missed his deployment. So he still gives me, he's like, you made me miss Iraq 1. You got to go to Iraq 2. That's not fair.
See, I think both your mom and dad, man. Look at that. He can joke about that,
Yeah.
And your dad worked, obviously, is he still police or is he retired?
He's retired now. He's living up here in Clarksville because he doesn't want to go back to Mississippi because he hates the heat. And there's after my mom passed away, there's nobody in Milwaukee anymore. Everyone, like, it's just after my mom passed away, all of our like family, cousins, everyone like moved away.
Yeah, just dispersed. Right. Yeah. Well, you have your father nearby. Yeah. That's awesome. Your children can learn from him as well. I think parenting goes a long way in how we teach our kids resiliency. And I think that's a big part. I see that you're resilient. and what you've done. Not that you haven't experienced, sadness, the struggles going along with losing an arm. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that in the end, you're resilient, and a big part, and it goes back to your mother, your dad, but also your wife, and, how supportive she was, and is, so forth. So I just want to just encourage you that way that, stay resilient. And I would encourage the viewers here, if you're a veteran and you've been injured, stay resilient, become resilient, and sometimes it takes counseling to do that. Sometimes it takes just, learning from your parents and so forth. Thank you, Derek, for coming in, man.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And Derek, just one more thing. Hopefully you do podcasting.
I'm going to get back into it.
Yeah. What do you podcast? What do you talk about? What do you do?
We were just a little bit of the gun stuff, like gun news, Second Amendment news, but we would do like topical stuff, like things that are in the news media, current event stuff.
Okay, great. Well, I thought maybe you had a podcast show. I was just going to promote it or anything, but maybe at another time, maybe we can collaborate on some work. Who knows?
Okay.
Who knows? Again, I'm Dan Konjorski, and thank you for viewing Clarksville Community Connection. Please like us on Pathfinder Media Group and share this podcast with others. And may you have a great day today.